Hello, everyone. So I'm here with Joseph, and this is my friend for about 13 years now. We graduated in 2010, but we knew each other even before we graduated. That's at high school. So right now we're going to talk about a gangster lifestyle mentality, something that we both had at least a little bit. So, Joseph, back in when we were in high school and maybe even before, in regards to the gangster mentality, how was your mentality then, as far as what you wanted to get, compared to your spiritual evolution now and wanting other things? Like, how did it change in your mind as far as your goals back then compared to your goals now? And could you give any advice on on that mentality that you used to have?
Well, I wouldn't really call myself a gangster or anything like that. Wasn't really like in no cliques or anything like that. But I did grow up with a lot of gangsters. I'm not gonna lie. That was always something that was part of my life. And just from that perspective that I had when I was younger, just that whole gang banging, doing that dumb stuff. Um, I would say it was kind of bad in a way, but it kind of taught me a lot. Like how you say, like how people refer to, there's not stuff that you can get taught in school, like street knowledge and all that stuff, and that's true because in school you can't really know somebody's character. Somebody can completely come to school with a different face and go out of school with another face. You know what I mean? But when you go outside in the streets and all that stuff,
Everything's right in your face.
yeah,
Like
everything's
you
right.
have to show who you are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the people that I grew up, I was kind of influenced by them people. I always took it to the heart, but I guess it's only because I was young, and now me being older.
You're looking for guidance when you were
Yeah,
young, right?
exactly. That's one thing like that. I always had a father. Now, don't get me wrong, but stuff like that, I guess it just in the moments and all that stuff. But hey, just me looking at that perspective, I look at myself. That was kind of dumb, stupid, childish of me. But in a way, I don't regret it though.
because you evolved from it.
Yes, yes, sir, yes, sir. Because there's some stuff that I would never be able to learn if it wasn't for people, stuff that I did. Because don't get me wrong, if I act humble now, it's only because I probably done a lot of fucked up shit before.
Yes.
And don't get me wrong, it's not towards good people or anything like that. These are like all bad people.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
still, it helped me evolve to have a better perspective now and be able to say, you know what, that was childish, but in a way I still benefit from that. Because
And back then, I would say I had a very similar mentality. Like, I'm gonna take what I want. I'm going to use what I want, and I'm going to use the people around me to get one of those two things, to feel this feeling, to get those drugs or to take the material that I want. So I had a very similar mentality. I'm not sure if we had the exact same mentality, but I was completely selfish, and I think that you can see that you might have been selfish in the past as well.
oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, like especially stuff that we had. Not saying we had to do, like somebody would make us do it, but
Yeah.
just stuff that only saw homeboys doing it. So I thought, I had to do it too. I said, you know what? That was like a life that nobody can control you. That you can do exactly what you said, whatever you want. But
It felt powerful, didn't it?
yeah, it felt like you can empower people, and
Yeah.
then that's a sometimes it's a good feeling, but then again, it really isn't because it makes you look like, damn, have I become?
Because when you look back on it, you're like, man, I did not want the right things, and the life I was living was not sustainable. So I mean that's as far as my own perspective. But do you feel like as a person, how has that mentality shifted into the mentality that you have now as a business owner and as a father? Like, has that you wouldn't want your kids to go through the same stuff? I imagine.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
In a way, yes and no. Well, actually, no. Because I'm glad I was able to experience that myself. That way I can let them know hands on.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be something that I'm reading off a book.
Yeah.
It would be something that I would be, you know what? This is my experience. You want to go for my word? Go for it. If you don't, there's that life.
You're gonna have to learn the hard lessons that
Yeah.
you learned, basically, right?
So I do take all that stuff into consideration because I'm able to progress everything that I learned to able to establish something better for them. Even though I could want to say, you know what, I'm gonna give them a better life and all that stuff because, bro, come on now. There's a lot of people. Not saying a lot of people, but there've been different stories that, like, say for instance, even if they live in a rich neighborhood and stuff like that, a kid can always end up bad. We
Yeah.
do not never know.
Yeah.
Like we can try to train the kid to be an all-star student, but then he can be a junkie.
Yeah.
He can do that because of so much stuff that I have put into it. I just want to be able to let my kids know that they can do whatever they like, but here's the lessons that they're gonna be taught. Because
Yeah.
that's how I was taught. So basically, when I try to help people out, I try to help them out in a way, and sometimes it fails. I fail because I try to give so much that I've done and be like, you know what, this happened to me. Don't go that route.
Yeah.
But then again, you gotta learn. You know what? If it means for you to go that route, for you to learn something, hey, do it.
Karma.
Because
You're gonna pay for it.
Yeah, because sometimes, man, we really don't learn until the lessons are being, or like until stuff like that are being made, bro.
And
Like mistakes. And I'm not saying go straight to the mistakes or anything like that. I'm not trying to get off topic or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, whatever you may feel at that moment, just go for it. If you feel like, you know what, it was a bad decision, hey, you'll learn from it.
Yeah.
And karma, like, it really is true. Stuff that you have done or you have might done to other people and it comes back to you, you really realize it and it makes you like, damn.
Cause and effect, man.
Yeah, I'm like, shit. I actually, like, it's really, you're in I'm in your point of view now and this sucks.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what makes you change whenever karma hits you. It
Yeah.
gives you a better what am I trying to
Perspective.
say? Perspective, yes sir, yes sir.
And see, like, I know that one of the reasons I was drawn to this materialistic lifestyle in the past, I would say it was, I didn't get as much guidance from my dad as I wanted. You know, my dad's always been there, but there's always not a lot of what he taught me. He didn't teach me a whole lot when I needed it.
Mm.
So, was that similar in your experience? Did your dad actually teach you?
Tell you the truth, kind of the same as you're saying, because my father, don't get me wrong, I respect my father and all that, but he's always been there for me and like having a roof over my head. And don't get me wrong, it's not like he never wanted to, but he always had to work. But I always look at it like, you know what, I was never able to been taught stuff like that, or somebody to be like, you know what, don't go that route.
Yeah.
Basically, he would just be like, you know what, all my homeboys were gangbangers are dead and going to jail. Is that what you want for your life? Instead of
That's
actually,
pretty blunt.
Yeah, bro. You know what I mean? Basically, say, you know what, here's a book, read it, and then you'll get the results at the end.
Yeah.
That's how he was, just a hard ass, bro. And then he wouldn't. And then to me, now that I have kids, I look at it like, nah, man. I will really, really tell them details, and I will let them know the path that they will take, like stuff like that, because I know that will help me out. Because if I had my father more involved in like that, bro, I probably wouldn't have done this stupid shit that I did.
I feel you, man.
I probably would not even done. I would have had I don't know. Well, I guess I really can't say, but I know from my perspective now, because I have thought about it that way. I'm like, damn, my dad was, and I even told him once during Father's Day, I'm like, you know what? I know you weren't really around through my childhood and all that stuff. Even when I was in high school, I only saw them at nighttime, bro.
Yeah.
Morning and nighttime, that's it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I know you weren't there as much, but I do appreciate always being able to see your shoulders.
Yeah.
Not like you ever walked out and I was able to see a father figure all the time. But I wish it would have been something different. But he made it seem like, what do you mean? I've always been there all your whole life. I'm like, you have, but not really, really.
Like, didn't teach you the lessons that you truly need to know.
Yeah.
And I think that's a problem. Honestly, man, I think that's a problem for a lot of people. It's just that ours was a little bit different because we went materialistic to kind of way too far. You know, do you feel like there was I imagine that, I think that your mother was there, right? Your mother was really there for you. My mom has always been there for me. Do you think it's definitely at least just as important to have a male figure there that can show you, like, okay, look, just don't do this. This is what I went through. If you have any needs as far as mentally, if you need to come to me with any questions, then feel free to do so. Do you think that having that male role model, like that, we just didn't have as much, do you think that is just as important as having a female role model?
Yeah, it is. Because having a mother makes you love. Makes you feel like, you know what, you have a heart, at least, if you get that mother love.
Yeah.
Because you can always get your hard-ass dad, but then it's a little mix of both, like the yin and the yang.
Yeah.
So if I feel like I didn't just have the roughness and the toughness and all that stuff, that I didn't have to act upon what I had to do to prove to myself sometimes.
Yeah.
If I would have had words like, you know what, you don't need to do none of this stuff. And come on now, yeah, I could have put 2 and 2 together going to school, but man, we're young at that time. We look for guidance and we go to school and all that, but we reflect on our parents, what they do, bro.
Yeah.
And how they teach us. Because just by me having...
So, man, that's a fine line to walk, man, because, like, our parents, like, a lot of the time, they don't know what they're doing. And my parents really didn't know what they were doing, and I went through a lot of shit, and they just didn't know how to deal with it. So, I think being a parent, man, it's hard, but it's very important that you're always there. Would you agree?
Yeah.
And I imagine that you would have the same feeling for your kids, because...
Yeah. And you're right. Our parents are not perfect. Just like me, bro. I'm not perfect either. I'm not perfect whatsoever, and I know whatever happens, and I just gotta learn from every mistake, but it's a little bit more different because me, as a father, I like to be more involved. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter if I already work hard enough for them. I would like to be more involved, even if I have to be at this certain level with them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't just want to be like going off straight from the book like how our parents were raised.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? I wasn't really know what I was doing. I'm like, you know what? I don't know what I'm doing either. But all I know is that I need to be a good father.
Yeah.
I need to be like this. I need to be like that because my father wasn't like this to me.
Yeah.
And I don't want to mess up with my kids and do the same thing to them.
Yeah. So it's like it feels like I know in my family, especially my dad's dad was really terrible. He beat my dad for no reason, beat him with boards, cables, straps, stuff like that. And you know, my parents never beat me. And my dad made a point. You know, he told me later on, it's like I was never going to do anything but spank you, and he even very rarely spanked me because I know what my dad did to me. So I think that every generation we can actually improve.
Yeah.
So I think that what you learned will actually help your kids even more. And you know, their kids, they'll do even better, and then we'll keep on doing better and better and better, assuming you know every parent takes responsibility along the line. When it comes to, since we're on the topic of parenting, would you have any advice for parents that are dealing with kids that really want to get into, like, I don't know, you could say the gangster lifestyle, gang life, or what would you tell them to tell their kids if you had anything to say? I mean, you don't have to answer this, but if you had anything to say to them, what would you tell them to tell their kids?
Well, if you notice that your kid is going that route the same way you're going, all I can really say is try to be there as much as you can for them. Because just from my point of view, if my parents tried to stop me when I was already there, I'd probably be like, no.
Yeah, no,
Whatever they tell me not to do,
I did
and you
too.
know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here and be like, you know what? Be hard on them, do this, do that, send them to this. I'm like, you know what? Try to keep their mind more focused on something else. I'm like, nah. Well, if it comes to that point, because not all of us, we never, as parents, we never want to fail.
So, like, get them to focus on the good dreams.
Yeah.
Instead of, like,
just no matter what, even if it's going that route, just try to be even more involved. Try to show something different. Try to get them away as possible, but to a degree that you're not like snatching that away from them, because I just want to get them back.
Because
it's
a
like
lot
they
of the
say,
time,
you know what, you can't drink this bottle. It makes me just want to drink it now.
Yeah, a lot of the time you tell them not to do something, they want to do it.
Exactly.
So it's kind of a fine line to walk, and you gotta realize how you're gonna come at your kids and like tell them exactly what. That's why parenting, I imagine, is so hard, man.
Yeah,
because
it is.
I mean,
It is,
even dealing with young kids, I mean, like they won't be to this level. They're way far away from being to this level. But even as young kids, I imagine that when you tell them no about something, sometimes they actually still want to do it because you said no.
Yeah,
So
and they actually already get even when they're babies, bro, they get the point, like, you know, I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm still going to do it because he already said no.
Yeah.
And I don't know what no means, but I know he don't like it. Yeah, man, so basically what I can just say on that, man, just, if it ever goes that route, just try to be there more for them, because at that moment, they probably just feel something different.
Yeah.
Or, then again, it could be different, bro, because all of us are different. It could be like a wave, a little trend.
a lot
Just because of what the people they're hanging around with. Don't try to be like, you know what, I'm going to take his friends away. I'm like, you know what? If it has led to that, what are you basically doing? You're taking rights from him. You're doing all this other stuff from him. And basically, if you had your parents do that to you, how will you feel? Answer that
Exactly.
question as you being the kid again.
Yeah.
You tell me the same thing. Hey, let me do what I want to do.
So just keep your strategy in mind and how it would have affected you as a kid, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, and man, it's for me. It was weird because I was dealing with schizophrenia and I was trying to medicate it, blah blah blah. Then at some point I was just like, screw the world. I'm just gonna get what I want and just use the people around me. And the sad thing is, a lot of the time, like you said, my parents, there's very little that they could have said to me. I remember at one point in my life, I would have rather gone to jail than to listen to my parents, which makes me a very difficult kid. But I mean, not all kids are like that, and you always have to consider the individual because every single kid's a little bit different. So you have to really get to know your kid, right? You have to really understand where they're coming from, what exactly they're thinking, sit down and talk with them, basically. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
it's basically like how when they say, "Oh, you gotta have that conversation with your kids on the bees and the birds and all that."
Yeah.
Just talk about life,
Yeah.
and just how other people will be like, you know what, no, I don't want you hanging around with this crowd. I'm like, hey, if it came to that point, don't try to take him out. Just try to be like, you know what got to that level.
Yeah.
Try to really understand your child. Yeah. If it gets to that point, you know what, I want to start hanging around with this crowd. All right, what led up to that? What mistake did you do and help you fix that?
Yeah.
Don't just try to be like, you know what, I'm just going to take this dude out of this because I don't like because it's not what you don't know.
Yeah.
It's like basically telling them, like on a kid when a kid's crying, stop crying. Don't take that feeling away from him. Don't give him that.
Find out why he's crying.
Yeah.
That's a good message to end on. So, hey, thank you very much, Joseph, for having this conversation with me. And, hey, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, shoot them down in the comment section below. And I hope to see all of you on my channel in the future.